Today I'm going to show you something that will help you quiet the voices of doubt in your head once and for all so that you can finally begin manifesting the life of your dreams. You're about to learn the power of Pronoia. Hey, it's Andrew, otherwise known as the guy who wrote the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read, and today I've got another fun video for you here, another useful video. But before we get into that, doing the YouTube thing, I want to invite you to please hit that like button if you've been enjoying this content thus far. And while you're at it, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you've hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any future videos. But also, I've got another special request for you as we begin. I'd like you to comment something really special below right now. So do me a favor, comment right now, the universe is conspiring in my favor. All right? The universe is conspiring in my favor. I'm not kidding here. Comment below. You will understand why momentarily. It's really important for what we're doing today. And hopefully, ideally, as you're typing it, it's also going to feel good, which, as we know, in and of itself is really valuable for you. So one more time, comment below right now. The universe is conspiring in my favor. With that said, I want to begin today's video with a recent email I got from, let's call her Catherine. We won't use her real first name here, but it's a very relevant, very important email as you're about to see. So let me just quickly dive into it right now. And it reads, "Hi Andrew, your videos are all very good, but I feel as if I'm blocking myself and I don't know what to do. I've had lots of small things happen, which I'm so very thankful for. I either script or speak into my phone, or depending on circumstances, I also practice gratitude all throughout the day, every day. I feel as if I'm constantly turning around negative thoughts." That's important, guys. We're going to get back to that one. "Mostly to do with it won't happen for me. And the more I hear about other people winning or celebrating, the more I think, what am I doing wrong? I'm so very stuck and I don't know what to do next. In the meantime, I continue to follow the methods that I've used for months. Am I just being impatient? Yours gratefully, Catherine." All right, Catherine, we are going to dive into all this and we're going to address it very thoroughly. But before we get there, for everyone, I want to throw a concept out at you here. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that Catherine is guilty of this, but I want to really ask you right now, do you know what the word paranoia means? I would venture to say, yes, you know what that means. Even if you can't give me the exact wording of the definition, you know what it is. And why is that? In fact, before we answer that, let me read my brief definition that I've got offline here. It says, paranoia is a mental disorder characterized by delusions and feelings of extreme distrust, suspicion, or being targeted by others. In other words, thinking that the universe is out to get you. Now, again, I'm not saying Catherine's dealing with that, but I'm throwing this out there because I want to juxtapose it with a different word and a different concept. But before I get there, quick question again, why do we all know what paranoia is, but we most likely don't know what pronoia is? How can we know one versus the other? It's because one is way more prevalent, one is way more pervasive, one is more that's something that we just deal with every single day, whether it's through our own experience or just being around other people. In other words, we are constantly being bombarded with that idea of paranoia being a part of our world and a part of our universe. But what about pronoia? Well, first things first, let's define what pronoia is. Pronoia, as the definition that I found online, is basically the belief that the universe is conspiring in your favor. In other words, we had one where the universe is out to get you, and the other where the universe is conspiring in your favor. And obviously here, a real key distinction, you don't need me to tell you the difference here. One really helps you, one is not so good. And again, one we all know about, and the other, most people, most likely, as they're going on this video, they're probably thinking, what is this pronoia thing that Andrew's put in either the thumbnail or the subject heading or whatever I decide to do? The thing is, the reason that I'm bringing up pronoia is because that is actually a gateway and a key into the life of your dreams. And I am not exaggerating one bit. Just by having pronoia, experiencing it, enjoying it, leaning into it, you are basically unlocking a lot of obstacles that you didn't even know were in front of you this entire time. It is that powerful. It is that magical, really. Really, this is about understanding that, yes, the universe is on your side. Yes, the universe is doing good for you. Yes, things are always working out. Things are always working out for you. In fact, let's comment that below right now. Things are always working out for me. Comment below right now. Things are working out for me. And I mean this. I'm not kidding. You can hear as I'm talking, I'm almost stalling so that you have time to type this out while you're not missing anything from the video. Things are always working out for me. Comment that below because they are. And the only question is, are you willing to do the very simple, easy things, to lean into that positivity, to broadcast a signal that's going to invite it way more easily for you? Now, again, I'm not saying that Catherine is a victim of paranoia, but it's certainly obvious that she is not engaged in the idea or the concept of pronoia. In fact, let's look back at her letter real quick here. She says, I feel as if I'm constantly turning around negative thoughts. Now, to me, even if you're feeling gratitude every single day, if you say something like that, obviously you are coming from a place of the universe is not really my friend right now. And if you're coming from a place of that, obviously you are not really on the right track. You are holding things back without even realizing it. Because trust me, when you say the universe is my friend, and it is, everything shifts into gear in the right way for you. Everything starts to unfold. Everything starts working out. So Pronoia really is this magical thing that I've actually been waiting a long time to do a video on because it is so important. It is so vital. It is such a powerful way by which you can invite things. And all it really comes down to is willing to lean into the idea that the universe is in fact conspiring in your favor. All it is about looking at things around you, looking at circumstances, looking at situations, and either looking at them as cues that things are working out if they're good things, or cues that things are working out in spite of any temporary bad things. Because if a bad thing is happening or you're feeling bad in any way, it's temporary. It is not your default state of mind. It is not your default state of being. Again, let's go back to Catherine's letter here. She's dealing with the thoughts of it won't happen for me. That's what she's actually putting down there. And notice that what she says here, she says, the more I hear about other people winning or celebrating, the more I think, what am I doing wrong? And you know what? There's only one thing you're doing wrong at that point. And it's wondering what you're doing wrong, because everybody goes on their own timeline. Everyone has their own progress, their own speed, and everyone's moving towards different things based on their own perception of reality, which is either inviting good things or holding them back. It's a really key important thing here. And by the way, this might feel hopeless right now, but it is so much more easy to turn around than you could ever imagine. And we're going to get there also here before we're done with this video. But really, again, I just want to spotlight here. I mean, the fact that she's looking at other people winning and feeling any kind of negative thoughts, that right there, strategically, if nothing else, is keeping you in the wrong direction. Me, if I want to fall in love and I see another couple that's in love, I'm having gratitude for that. I'm feeling happy for them, but even more importantly, I'm feeling happy because that's the universe telling me, hey, Andrew, this exists. And you know what? If it exists, it's also an option on the table for you. In fact, I'm showing that to you right now because it is just on the way to being here. It is just on the cusp. You are just on the cusp of enjoying it. And really, again, strategically, I know that when I lean in that way and when I'm excited and happy in that way, I bring it to me all the more easily and all the more faster. So getting back to Catherine's message one more time here, she says, I feel so very stuck and I don't know what to do next. And the answer is, Catherine, you basically do another 5 minutes of gratitude or positive visualization every single day. Only this time, when negative feelings pop up, whether it's one time or 100 times, you understand that those things do not prevent any of the momentum that you just created with those 5 minutes of simple gratitude each day. Realize that no matter how it feels in the moment, you are building more and more and more momentum. You are inviting more and more and more good things. And the only thing that you can do to hold them back now is to worry that your thoughts of worry are actually hurting you. And when you don't worry about that, when you say, meh, life isn't perfect and that's okay, this negative thing, that doesn't mean that I didn't do my work this morning about the 5 minutes of gratitude, things are still leaning in the right direction. Because when you think about it, positive emotions and positive thoughts are hundreds, if not thousands of times more powerful than negative ones. Meaning those 5 minutes a day that you did a gratitude, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment, is worth 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 hours of any negative thinking that you might experience later on that day. And hopefully you're not dealing with hours and hours of negative thoughts all day. You're dealing with things that pop up here and there, and then you're allowing yourself to worry about it unnecessarily. So looking at Catherine's last question here, am I just being impatient? Yes and no. I mean, yes, in the sense that, again, if you're feeling like you are impatient here or you're worried about that, obviously then you're not enjoying the methods in the moment that you're doing the methods. I mean, no matter what happens during the day, those 5 minutes that you're feeling gratitude or that you're doing any kind of positive visualization, they should feel good. And if they don't feel good in the moment, you want to try a different method until you find something that feels good. Because the whole point of those 5 minutes is about saying, I don't care what happens the rest of the day. And regarding what I want, I don't care when it happens or how it happens. All I know is that in this moment, I'm giving myself the gift of enjoying these things and not worrying about anything else. I'm having this pure, positive thought. I deserve these 5 minutes of really good time. I deserve these 5 minutes of feeling good in this moment. So to you, Catherine, I would just say, think pronoia. Think the idea and the belief and leaning into the concept that the universe is actually conspiring in your favor, because it is. I mean that. I'm not just saying that blankly off to a screen that's being recorded right now that's going to go to a bunch of random people. I mean this. I am legitimately speaking to you about this. I'm telling you right now in this moment, it is working out. And all you need to do is say, I don't care how it happens. I don't care when it happens. I don't care about why it happens. All I know is I'm going to feel good for those 5 minutes a day. When I see other people winning, I'm not going to wonder what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to say, beautiful. This is a breadcrumb from the universe. This is a manifestational raindrop, like I talk about in my book, from the universe. This is a sign from the universe telling me, Catherine, it's working out. Catherine, here's your little indication through the mirror of other people so that you know it's on the way, so that you can embrace it, so that you can lean into it, so that you could practice feeling good for other people so that when it comes for you, you'll feel even better for yourself. Those moments when you see other people winning, those moments when I post interviews of other people winning or anything else, these are your opportunities to strategically lean into the idea that the universe is on your side, to strategically nurture and cultivate the feeling of pronoia. That's what these opportunities are for you and everybody else watching. With that said, even if you already commented this before when I asked you to, comment it again. The universe is conspiring in my favor. Put that down right now. Put it in the comments right now and let yourself feel the positive emotion flow through you, knowing that this is true. Knowing that it's not just words, but that there is true power and magnetism behind the vibration of those words and the feelings that you're enjoying by typing those words out. Finally, I want to give you a demonstration and an example of what somebody goes through when they go along those lines, when they follow that pathway of leaning into the methods and enjoying them for even just 5 minutes a day. And I want to show you part of a letter that another reader wrote to me. His name is Hans, and he basically began the letter by telling me how he's been doing the methods and how he's been really beginning to pick up a lot of momentum for himself. So as he's telling me that, we begin this next paragraph where he says, yesterday I was doing a method and it went really well. And I realized that it had been working more and more recently, at which point I thought, now it's essential that I keep going. Those moments can seem like they're the point where you can let it go a bit, assuming that you've done enough, but with this stuff, it's those moments where it's important to keep going because those are the moments where you almost break through to a better situation. So I'm still working on it. I feel the energy shifting. Like when you can sometimes somehow tell that the weather is going to change. After today's session, I spontaneously felt like everything always works out for me by itself. I didn't create that feeling or intent. It was my subconscious responding to my consistent practice. And now that feeling doesn't go away. Listen to that, Catherine. Now that feeling doesn't go away. Notice he cultivated it within him, and now it's happening automatically. He says, now that feeling doesn't go away. Without me doing anything or even paying attention to it, I constantly feel like everything always works out for me perfectly by default. I'm expecting some good results from it in the coming months. Now notice that, he said coming months. Now, he could have said days, weeks, months, years, it doesn't matter. He just knows that it's on the way. And because he knows it's on the way, not only is it on the way, but I can say from personal experience, it's going to come on the way faster than you might think and better than you might expect. And just to toot my own horn here, he also writes, but it's the result of how you've designed the methods to work. The subconscious picks it up, and then that result runs on autopilot. So I'm very grateful for your help. Finally, it all makes sense and is beginning to work. Thank you for that, Hans. Hans, thank you. You know, I told you when I replied to you the other day that your email was going to help people, and it was a wonderful opportunity to inspire others. And right now for Catherine and anyone else who might have been wondering what they're doing wrong, you just gave them a perfect example that when they just lean into the methods, it does work and things do happen as long as you don't worry about when it will happen or how it will happen. And you just say, you know what? The universe is conspiring in my favor. Things are working out for me. Everything is coming in place together. And in the meantime, I'm enjoying my life to whatever measure I can. In the meantime, when I'm doing those methods, I'm only worrying about having fun in that moment. That is the key. It all comes down to pronoia. It all comes down to the genuine, authentic, deep core belief that the universe really is on your side, that things really are working out, that everything is unfolding in your favor just for you, because you know what? It is. And again, the only thing that will stop you from enjoying it is the worry that it's not. Buying into the illusion that it's not happening. And again, that's just an illusion. Our default state is well-being. Our default state is happiness, and our default way of being is inviting good things into our lives. We just may have forgotten it if we've been exposed to enough ideas that are painting the illusion of lack. But lack is just an illusion in this world and in this universe. Abundance is the way. Abundance is your natural state of being, and pronoia is something you can very easily cultivate and lean on to bring even more good things into your life in an even better way, an even faster way, so that you're way happier as it's unfolding for you. All right, everyone, now I want to hear from you. So do me a favor, comment below. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of this concept. Or just comment again, the universe is conspiring in my favor. Any positive comment that you put down will get you entered into this month's contest, where one lucky winner will walk away with lifetime access to Gravity of the Cosmos, my advanced level full immersion guided program for manifesting your every desire through the law of attraction. This is the program where I'm going to take you through 90 straight days of manifesting methods in only a few minutes a day, so that you don't have to worry or wonder about what method to do or when to do it, and you can just sit back, relax, and follow along as I guide you through 3 full months of massive vibrational momentum toward manifesting the life that you've always wanted. And if you want a free test drive of the program, my book, The Last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read, has a link to bonuses, one of which includes the first few days of Gravity of the Cosmos, free of charge, so you can try it before you buy it. And you can check my book out by going to lastlawofattractionbook.com. That'll auto forward to the Amazon listing, where you can get it in Kindle or paperback or audiobook depending on your preference. And speaking of my book, I'd like to quickly spotlight a recent review and thank one of my awesome readers for sharing their feedback on it. Today's feedback is a 5-star rave review left by Eli Delaney with a subject heading straightforward, no fluff, and it reads, I was first introduced to the law of attraction over 2 decades ago, and it's helped me a lot over the years. After reading Andrew's book, I wish it was one that had been around when I was first introduced to LOA. It's not an idea book, it's a guide of the step-by-step actions to take to change the way you think. If you already study the law of attraction, you'll have a solid do this stuff refresher. If you're new, this is a perfect book to dive into and get started running. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing such a great piece of work. Wow, Eli, I gotta tell you, I read that review and I only had one reaction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am that you enjoyed it so much, especially considering that you've got over 2 decades of law of attraction experience under your belt. I take your words as high praise and a super high compliment, so thank you so much. And that's a wrap on today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate you. And if you've enjoyed this content, do me a favor, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and hit that bell notification so that you don't miss any further videos, because I've got a lot more awesome ones on the way very shortly. I will see you next time.